Hi everyone, it's Mo here and welcome to my YouTube channel. It's international break, the dreaded international break. This is when us FPL managers either go into hibernation, hiding, turning off our phones, turning off the TVs. But now, the second week of international football, we come back out. We start paying attention. We need to know what's going on with our players. How are they doing? They're scoring goals, getting assists. More importantly, are they fit? Now, in this video, this is my preparation for game week 13. It's time to start thinking forward. Start getting ready for this Saturday deadline. Now is the time. All right, let's get into this video. Right, before we get into the video, I want to do me a favor. I'd love it if you'd like, subscribe, and share this video with any other managers you feel will enjoy this content or find this useful. I'd really appreciate that. Right, let's get into the video. So, first thing I do during international break, well, I should say the second week when I'm preparing for the game week, is to look at my players and see their fitness. Of course, that's the most important thing. It's the thing that worries us the most. Yeah, it's one of the things that we keep an eye on even during international. We're like, oh, let me make sure. Is he finished? Is he fit? Is he okay? So I'm going to give you a quick run through a couple of the players who I think are important, some of us own, and let you know what I think if they're starting, not starting. So having a quick look at injured players I think will play. Haaland, of course I think he plays. He got injured, he came on as a sub, took a tackle to the ankle, came off. He finished the game. Again, I don't think Norway are going anywhere in international football. I'm sure were they third? They can't qualify. And why use him for the second game? That alarmed us, him not playing the second game, but the reality is they weren't going to make it, so why risk him? Again, precaution. He's going to be ready for the Liverpool game. Pep's most really said to him, listen, rest up, we need you for this game. So I'm not worried about him. I think he plays, starts, fully ready for the weekend's fixture. I think Son, again, we were concerned. We saw him limping around for Korea. He still has another game, of course, we need to keep an eye on. But again, I think he'll be fully fit. No problems with him. Don't worry about the images we saw flying around, looking at it, hobbling. Nah, he's fine. Players like Isaac, again, fully fit, should be playing, should get our interest going because if you look at the bottom of the list, Wilson, he's not fit. So that's interesting. Some of us that want Newcastle attack, we've got someone right there. The ones who I think potentially are 50-50, players like Onana, Gabriel Jesus, who's training with the Brazil squad, 50-50 because I'm not sure how fit and how ready he'll be to jump straight into the Arsenal attack. Then we've got Bowen. Bowen's the important one. Loads of us own him. Loads are even thinking about captaining him. They've got a gorgeous fixture. He came home, he got sent home from England yesterday. With niggles, we're not even quite sure if it's hamstring, calf, knee. No one knows, so we can't even make assumptions. But I'm sure in the next couple of days, you're going to get an update from Moyes or from him himself, whether it's social media, and then we'll know if it's something serious to worry about. But at the moment, I'd put him closer to 80% that he'll be starting, and it's more than likely a precaution. He's most probably said, listen, I feel it feels a bit tight. Let me not risk it. It's one of them ones, and if let him go home. But you'll get an update midweek. You'll mostly see pictures of him training midweek. Then you can carry on with your plan as normal. Players who are not playing, Wilson, Antonio, Ferguson, Odegaard. Odegaard wasn't in the squad. Again, we're not quite sure what's going on with him, but maybe the press conferences, we'll get an update. Matoma, top of the list, the most interesting, highly owned. A lot of us like him, cheap in a Brighton attack. But I think it's almost certain he's not playing from the updates we've been reading online. So keep an eye on that. Press conferences, you never know, could give you an update late in the week that could change your mind there. So you don't need to move on him straight away. And I've put a little quote in at the bottom. I saw ESPN UK tweet this and it was quite interesting. There have been 196 injuries in the Premier League so far this season. The number marks a 15% increase compared to the last 4 seasons. So it tells you more injuries are happening, and we're not shocked by this. Players are playing too many games. You get the other half that will say, look, so what? They get paid all of these millions. They can play non-stop. But the reality is, it doesn't work like that. If you're playing top bracket level football, you need the rest, the recuperation for them to be ready. But if they're playing this many games, that number is going to keep increasing until clubs will need free squads. You're going to hardly see, honestly. If they continue raising, I keep seeing Champions League numbers will be increased, European fixtures will be increased, and World Cup fixtures. So I can't see this improving. But yeah, so that's the injuries. First thing we look at is vital for your planning. Have a look at your squad. Start thinking about the flags. What would you do if they were injured? What would you do if they're not? Then you can start planning ahead with transfers. Otherwise, without this information, you can't make any moves. Next, the things I tend to look at is still the fixtures going on. I'm recording this on Monday night. England just drew 1-1 with, is it Macedonia? Terrible game. But so you can, for example, I watched that game. I saw Saka walk off. I'm like, perfect. This is good stuff. He's fit. He's a player in my team. One less player I need to worry about. But there's games still going on. We've got, I've put some of the European fixtures, but we've also got Son with another fixture. Is it in China? And a packed, sold-out crowd, so that'll be a big game. And then you can see the Liverpool players, Man City players, loads of players playing. Look, Brazil versus Argentina. That's a monster game. A game like that, they're not going to play in second gear. They're going to be playing hard, full throttle. That's like one of the biggest rivalries in world football. And let's say Liverpool's got McAllister in there. You've got Alisson, just that's Liverpool 2 players straight away. They got Argentina. There's loads of players still to play. Diaz is still in there. Alvarez is still there. So again, keep an eye on these. You'll get information Wednesday, Thursday on fitness. So again, that should make you help in your planning of transfers and what to do, and whether you should be worried or not worried. So for now, don't be too concerned. Keep an eye on these. We'll get that information later on in the week. After that, of course, we all look at the fixtures. How can you plan without looking at the fixtures? And this weekend, we kick off this game week 13 with a gorgeous fixture, Manchester v Liverpool. But it's horrible planning because these two teams have got lots of players still playing in South America, which I just showed you a minute ago. And it's not ideal. A lot of them will be returning together, may I say, most probably in a private jet, but still late Thursday night. So it's not ideal for training and planning and strategy. It just almost ruins a marquee fixture. This should have been the Monday night fixture. Klopp's moaned a lot. People think he just moans for the sake of it, but when I looked at the number of how many early fixtures Liverpool have played compared to, say, everyone else, it's embarrassing. I'm not sure. It's more than likely money related. Liverpool mostly bring the biggest audiences for an early kickoff. Might be a dead kickoff time normally, that one. So I don't know. It's not ideal. It's not ideal for this fixture. But again, for us, it's not ideal for our FPL because a lot of us will have, say, 2 City, 3. I'm tripled up on Liverpool. So it's not ideal for me at all, especially defensively. But the plus side, attacking, I see goals here. 3 or 4 goals. Whether City score all 4 goals or it's 2-2 or 3-2, there will be goals in this fixture. So it's not too bad for attacking players. Next fixture we look at is Burnley v West Ham. No one should have any Burnley assets, but West Ham you might have, well, not might have, a lot of us will have Bowen. If he's fit, captain material right there. Burnley are struggling. Surprise, Vincent Kompany still got a job, but there you go. He might not after this game. After that, we've got Luton v Palace. Not the most exciting fixture. Some of us have Palace defensive cover. Some might even have Eze. But the reality is I see maybe a 1-1 there. That's called a Luton win. But the game after that, we got Newcastle versus Chelsea. Now, this is a good fixture. It's a shame this isn't, a live kickoff time in the UK. Newcastle were on the ropes before international break. They needed the break. Eddie Howe's got a lot of injuries and looks like Champions League and Premier League back-to-back is catching up with them. So that breather was at the right time. You saw they started to lose their patience and some of the players starting to show signs of stress. I think Trippier was arguing with a fan on the sidelines. I'm not sure if you've seen that clip. It's definitely worth checking it out. But they're playing Chelsea. Now, Chelsea have been involved in 2 of the craziest games I've seen this season. The first one against Spurs with 9 men and crazy high lines and millions of missed opportunities. It was a thriller. Very good game as a neutral. And the second game was the game just before international break, and that was against Manchester City. And that was an outstanding game again. What I will say about Chelsea, we knew they've had potential. They got youngsters, the squad's there. But Poch may be showing signs now of gelling them together with Jackson, Palmer. Who would have thought Palmer would have come in? He thought he would have been an understudy as sub. He looks like almost an essential FPL player. But Palmer and Raheem look rejuvenated. Maybe it's just playing against his old team. I'm not sure, but he looked really, really good. But this is a fixture I'm excited about. It's good for us for FPL and even if you don't have no FPL assets, just to watch and enjoy this game. After that, Forest versus Brighton. Forest, not bad this season, pretty solid at home. They're very strong, very hard to beat. Brighton, they're struggling. The injuries, again, similar to what I said to Newcastle. And it's what people forget about. When you earned European football, it's a pleasure, it's an incredible. But then you realize, oh, my squad's going to be depleted. And you just play back-to-back games, 3 games a week. And it eventually gets you. And Brighton at the moment, they look on the ropes as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they play in this game. But I mean, look, already this international break, Losing Matoma, De Zerbi must be fuming, but this is how it works. When you've got top quality players, they fly all around the world. So it's a good fixture to look at. Sheffield United versus Bournemouth, not much FPL interest. Maybe Solanke, if you got him, you could be in for some points here. Sheffield United, even at home, I don't rate them. And then after that, you got Brentford versus Arsenal. This is the last Saturday games, the late kickoff time in the UK at 5:30. I'm looking forward to this. Brentford, just before the international break, got given a 3-0 at Anfield by Liverpool. So they're going to want to bounce back. And Arsenal, they're going to want to capitalise on this game week because the two Liverpool, Man City, two rivals, potential rivals for the Premier League, are playing. So both could drop points there. They need to be ready. So Arsenal not firing on all cylinders in attack. They look like, to me, Arteta's made them maybe a little bit more defensive. Maybe it's not intentional. It's just injuries and just not running for them at the moment. But this game here, I'm interested. I'll be watching this game live. And then Sunday morning fixture is Spurs v Villa. It's not a nice matchup for us. A lot of us own Spurs and Villa. Again, I'm not sure if this is tight or we saw Spurs recently very attacking. Again, is this going to be like City, Liverpool and goals there for our attackers? And nothing I'm not expecting anything from Cash. I still own him. I think people have started to sell, but yeah, I'm not expecting anything here. And then we've got Everton versus United. United are random this season. Some poor performances, and they'll play in moments in games sometimes, and that's enough for them to win certain games. Everton, they've turned it around recently. Having said that, all our hard work seems to have been undone by that 10-point deduction, which has happened during the international break. It'd be interesting to see if that buoys them and fires them up, or do they just drop their shoulders and think this season is doomed. So that's a game to keep an eye on. I don't see it being an easy game for United, that. And the last game, God, how did they make this a Monday Night Football? It's Fulham versus Wolves. No disrespect to the Wolves and Fulham's fans, but not much FPL assets. I mean, I had Neto before, but yeah, that's before he got injured. I'll be hoping to get an update on him, actually, see how he's doing. But yeah, so fixtures, we all know this important part of our planning for the game week. And of course, this week's matchups are not ideal. So you're very fortunate if you've got, say, more players. Say if you've got a double Arsenal, you've got, I don't know, maybe a Brighton player, Man United, you might have Bruno. These are weeks where you could capitalize on a lot of us that own Liverpool, City, Newcastle, and Spurs and Villa. So you could capitalize this week. So tricky matchup this week. Captaincy. The last thing really to speak about is captaincy. Of course it is. My top three, have a look on the screen. You've got Haaland, Salah, and Bowen. And I'll give you the reasons behind them. First, I mean, we don't really have to sell Haaland, do we? You could actually play him, leave the captaincy into him all season. And I'm sure, unless I've got this wrong, I need to double check this, that the world number one at the moment has captained Haaland maybe 8 or 9 times. So it's not it's not rocket science, and he's a machine. City have scored 32 goals. Yet he scored 41% of their goals, 13 goals. It shows you if they score, the odds are, if they score 2 goals, nearly almost, he's guaranteed one of them is his. So again, when you put captaincy, of course you want hauls, but at times in the back of your mind, you want at least one return. You can't get more consistent than him. You just can't. And that's the reason he's broken FPL, and that's the reason he's so expensive. And even against Liverpool, who are a very strong team, I think the last game, I'm sure City beat Liverpool 4-1. So it tells you what City are. If City turn up, they can do that, and he will put the ball in the net. So he's my first choice. After that, and we should add as well, City at home. I'm sure it's a 25 winning game run or something if we include all competitions. They don't lose at home. And Salah for Liverpool, very similar again. 27 goals this season Liverpool have scored. If you look at Salah's 10 goals. Now, bear in mind, I'm not even adding the assists stats on this. They'll make it even more juicy, more appealing, because Salah's got some assists as well. But 37%, you're banking on Liverpool scoring 2 goals in this game, and he's getting one of them, or at minimum an assist. So it tells you again, very consistent. Yes, the fixture's grim, but a lot of the other matchups this week are grim. So you're looking then for the reliable players, and you're not going to get more than these two. Third choice is someone who's normally not the most reliable and someone you'd be very wary. But as the matchups this week are so tricky and very difficult, Bowen scored 8 goals this season. So he's doing his job. He scored 38%. I was talking a minute ago about Salah and Haaland, and Bowen's up there with them. Like when West Ham score, it's more than likely him. So again, it's a big compliment to him. He's having a great season. Obviously, West Ham scored 21 goals, less goals than the other two, but they're middle of the table. I think they're scored the same amount of goals as Chelsea this season, so it's still not too bad for me. And I think he's a decent punt. If he gets the clearance this week with his fitness and he's good, and you don't want to risk the other two, nothing wrong with him. The other matchups, I'm not sure about Saka versus Brentford. Is he captain material? You brave enough to go there? Chelsea v Newcastle, any of them players there? Are you? Nah, not really. There's not much. Darwin might have made this choice, but even him, he couldn't jump onto the top three because of his late return in South America. So it's not ideal. You don't even know if he's going to start. So it's not ideal at all. Hence, I've ended up with my top three captains there, some numbers to back it. So hopefully it might help you sway you to one of these three. Me currently, I'm on Salah for the simple fact I'm just comfortable with him and the way he's been playing recently. I'm happy with Liverpool. Seeing City, the way they defended against Chelsea, has made me think Klopp will be ready for that. I know City will be ready and they will be more improved, but the early kickoff almost adds to the lottery of this kickoff. Like, honestly, they've done no work all week for strategy for this fixture. Realistically, for a lot of the players, the main players flying back from around the world because of internationals, could add to a 4-4 thriller. So our attack, honestly, we could be onto something here. So that's the reason I'm on Salah at the moment. But of course, I could change my mind come end of the week. Let me know who your captains are, if they're in this top three, or if you've got another option, please let me know in the comments. I'd really appreciate that. I'd 100% reply as well. I always do to all my posts. All right, that's my planning for game week 13. Hope you found that useful. Hope you enjoyed that video. This is my early look, early thoughts, a bit of planning and getting ready for the game week 13. You need to start doing it from now, to be honest. I can understand the first week of international football, we're sleeping, we're not interested. The second week, okay, now we can start paying attention, and this is what I tend to do. So I hope you found this useful. And now, before you jump off, I want you to do me a quick favor. I want you to like, subscribe, and share this video with any other FPL managers you think might enjoy or find this video useful. I'd really appreciate that. And on that note, I wish you good luck and see you on my next video.